Hey you guys, it's Rochelle from Skincare RN, and today I wanted to film a video on my practicum experience. I've been trying to film this video for a while now, only because I think I tried to film it and then I got distracted, stopped, never came back and finished it. So today I'm gonna go ahead and try and film it. I'm extremely tired. I kind of want to go and take a nap, and sunlight is quickly, like, it's just about gone, really. And I just have like my little lamp here in my living room, and I just didn't feel like doing the most. And I don't think there's gonna be another day where I could record this. Yeah, like I might make it into 3 parts, which is why I figured I might as well start recording the first part now. And it's like really cold, which is why I have this robe on, y'all. For some of you people up north, y'all probably don't think this is cold, but for me, anything like cooler than 73 degrees is like really cool, okay? And it was like in the high 40s, I think, earlier today. And I don't know, y'all, I'm cold, so I got me a robe on, okay? So this is most likely going to be my part 1 of my practicum experience. And basically, this video, I kind of just want to describe my schedule and kind of talk about what practicum was for me and what I did exactly. So first things first, practicum, for those of you who are new to nursing or thinking about nursing or don't know what nursing is, the best way I can describe it is an internship, but it's a required internship to graduate nursing school. And this is kind of you working with a nurse, getting that experience and getting trained, getting like the practical training. Like, and it's not like clinicals. Clinicals, you'll go either once or twice a week. For clinicals, you will go either once, twice a week into the hospital, and you'll be working with the nurse, and you're kind of not doing as much. In practicum, depending on your preceptor, it's kind of like at that point, it's not like you have classes and labs and all this other, well, most people don't have classes and labs and all this other stuff going around. So you only go, like, it's like you're working full time as a nurse, but for free and under somebody. So basically for my school, the requirement was that I did, like, I can't even remember, and it wasn't even that long ago, somewhere around 150 to 180. I think it was like closer to 180 hours, and it just equaled out to doing, so that just like it ended up being, if I was able to, I had 8 weeks to complete those 180 hours, but if you had no issues, you would complete those 180 hours in 5 weeks by doing a maximum of 3 12-hour shifts per week. So that is kind of how my schedule ended up working out. Well, no, that's not how my schedule ended up working out, but like with my school, if you were able to do everything properly, like if your preceptor wasn't out or sick or anything like that, like then that would be your best bet. But basically, I want to go over what my schedule was like and what made my practicum so freaking hectic. You guys, I don't even, like, I'm looking back at it and I was just on go 24/7, and it didn't even make sense. Like, when I go over some of the things I did, like, I realized, and obviously I felt it then, but there were days where I just didn't sleep because it was just ridiculous. Like, it was just ridiculous, and I just couldn't believe I actually did it. You know what I'm saying? Number one, I felt like my school gave me entirely way too many hours. I had a friend who went to another school, and she only had to do, it ended up equaling out to 9 shifts. Okay, 9 shifts, and that would be, if you did your 3 shifts a week, that's just what, 3 weeks? Yeah, you know? So, like, it was so dumb, and I had to be there, if we did ours correctly, for 5 whole weeks. You know what I'm saying? It was just too many hours, and her time span was long, so she could do, like, maybe 1 here and maybe 2 the next week, and It just didn't, for us, it just felt like I was cramming. Now, let me explain how kind of my school did it. We had 8 weeks to complete these hours. We also had 8 weeks of a course. Now, we had finished all our nursing courses because you don't get practicum until the end. So, but this 8-week course was basically a required course, but it's when they basically made us do the Kaplan, boot camp, NCLEX readiness, whatever thingy. So you know that Kaplan has this thing where you can go, this little, they'll have you do like the trainers and testing and prep you for the NCLEX. Well, they took that thing and they turned it into an 8-week course. And basically how the course went, it was really ridiculous, but how the course went was you came in on your scheduled class day, they lectured you on strategies, you watched some of the NCLEX videos on strategies, and then you would take a random test on a random subject, random topic, and you needed to make the mark. Y'all know if y'all go to nursing school, it's anywhere from 76 to 78 being the bare minimum passing rate. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no 70s. Like 76 to 78, depending on the school you go to, is the bare minimum. So basically, at the end of the course, you needed to have 76 well, for us, it was 76 points, okay? Or, 76% in the class to have passed. So when you're being tested on like, there would be anywhere from 75 questions to, I think our longest one was like 190 question, almost 200 question test on just randomness. So you just had to always be prepared, and this was on top of practicum. Oh my God, I think my curry potatoes are burning. You guys, isn't this so cute? Shout out to my maid of honor for getting this for me. Oh, that's what I was saying. Run all that back. So yeah, like I was saying, they took the Kaplan, I don't even know what you call it, like Kaplan boot camp, Kaplan readiness, like thing that you can purchase to get ready for the NCLEX, and they turned it into an 8-week course. So here's what my schedule was like. You had 8 weeks to complete 180 hours, which I believe for me equaled about like 14, it could have been anywhere from 13 to 14 shifts, okay? I think it was more so 14 shifts, maybe 15 even. Then you had class, which was the Kaplan thing. You would come in, they would lecture, then you would take a random test on a random anything. And it was just so stressful, you guys, because you just never knew what it was going to be. And it was just extremely stressful. As you know, nursing school, it'll stress you out. And so basically, I had my class on Tuesdays, and I believe it was about a 5-hour window, if I'm not mistaken, from like 8 a.m. to like 1 p.m. or something like that. Because these tests could be long, because they could be like up to 190 questions. And that's after the lecture on strategies, not even on what you're going to be taking the test on. So that was on Tuesdays. I had a practicum rotation night shift, which I wanted because I've been a tech night shift. I love night shift. Like, I'm a night shift person. I prefer night shift. It just works better for me. But being that I was night shift, like, let's say you had a regular day shift practicum, you just couldn't schedule practicum on the day of, obviously, the day that you have class, because, and also we couldn't go over 3 days. Well, we couldn't go over 40 hours a week. So you could only literally do 3 days a week, and then maybe if you went over a few hours on those days. So if you were night shift, though, you not only could you not schedule your days on the Tuesday that you had class, but you also couldn't schedule it on the Monday before, what have you. So Tuesdays and Mondays, I was already out 2 days out of the week, which just left me with 5 days to work with. Right? And so I had 5 days to work with, but my second preceptor, her schedule mainly was on either Sunday nights, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, or other weeks it would be like Saturday nights, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. So on her good weeks, I could pick out 2 days, and on her bad weeks, I only could do 1 day. My schedule basically was, and I'm trying to break this down as best as I could, because you guys, in addition to having practicum where I did 3 days a week, which was 36 hours, I also worked about 30 hours to 36 hours at work. So y'all go ahead, do the math somewhere. We have like 36. Somebody do the math and put it in the comments below. That's how many hours that I worked. Half of those were paid, half of those were not paid. In addition to the 5 hours a week that I had for my lecture classes, you guys. Then I'm pretty involved at my church, so I'm usually there because we have 2 services and we help set up and break down from 8 a.m. to anywhere about 1:32 p.m. So that time, like, and I eventually had to, it was a point where I didn't show up to church, I think. I don't think I only happened once or twice, but that was only because like there was no other day and I had to get those days. And especially when 2 weeks out of my 8 weeks were already gone and I couldn't use those. I couldn't pick up extra shifts. So you guys, I think for the most part, what my schedule was, Sundays, most Sundays, I was at church from like 8 to about 2 p.m. I went home. By the time I got home, it was like 2:30, and I would have had something already made, but the way my life was working, I was grabbing and going. But I would eat from like about 2:30 to 3, and you guys, again, I worked night shift, so I needed to get a nap in somewhere. I would try and nap anywhere from 3:30-ish to 5:30, right? And if I wasn't napping, I'd just lay there with my eyes closed and just shut the world off, right? So those were those 2 hours. I would get up at 5:30, get dressed, shower, pack whatever snacks I was gonna pack, and I'd be out of the house by 6. Now my shift started at 6:45, and I left the house at 6, got there at 6:30, because I wanted to have enough time to kind of read my charts and look at my patients and things like that. Like actually do the whole shabam. I actually took it very, very seriously, and I acted as if this was my GN preceptorship, only because I wanted this to be like an extension of my GN preceptorship, just so I can get as much knowledge as possible, because once they throw you out there, sis, okay, I was just terrified, you guys, of being a bad nurse and not knowing anything. And who knows, I still a possibility. I am only a GN and I am new, but I do feel like I learned a lot. At least I got more comfortable. So I kind of aired out and kind of ironed out some of like the nerves and things. And, you know, I'm glad I got a job at the hospital that I did my preceptorship, because, you know, I'm familiar with their systems, and it just kind of takes a lot of the worry out of it. But anyways, regardless, y'all, Sundays, then I would go, the 6:45, right? So I'm there from 6:45 p.m. until you're supposed to, I believe it's 7:15 is when the nurses are supposed to get off, but you know, it's never like that, ever. I don't think I ever left on time. I think I would leave around 8:30, 8:30. I'll leave around anywhere from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, right? So let's say it was a good day and I left at 7:30, right? Which rarely happens. I more so leave at 8 a.m. in the morning. So 6:45, so let's make it more realistic. 6:45 till 8 a.m. the next morning. So that would be that Monday morning, okay? And so I would come home. By the time I got home, it would be about 8:30. And then I would go to sleep. From 8:30 to 12:30, I would sleep. And I would wake up at 12:30 because I had to be at work at 1. And my first job was I worked as a financial aid assistant at my school. So, and my school wasn't terribly far. So I got up, showered, ran out the house, and I was late just about every single day to that job. But they knew that I was in practicum, and my manager was really, really nice. But y'all, I was late every single day. Every single day I was late. But I would go to work from 1 to 7 p.m. that night. Come home, and I would probably be exhausted. It'd be 7:30. I would have dinner. It'd probably be 8 o'clock by the time I was done eating my food or prepping whatever I wanted to prep. And then I would go ahead and shower, and it would be somewhere around 8:30, and then I would try and review and study. Anywhere from 8:30 to 10, I would try review, I would try to study, I would try to plan weddings, my wedding. I would try and do any other activity that I needed to do that Monday night. As much as I could. My body probably gave out around 10:30, 11. And this is like without any extracurricular activities that I had going on in my life. And I felt like I had a lot. And then Tuesday, I would have to go to school at 8. I got off at 1, and then I had work at the school at 1:30 till 7 again. And then I had Bible study that started at 7. But because I got out of work at 7 on Tuesdays, I would end up going to Bible study late around 7:30. Got out, if I was lucky, 9, usually 9:30-ish. Got home around 10, showered, 8. By that time, y'all, there was no studying on Tuesday nights. Went to bed, right? Wednesdays, though, Wednesdays were usually, if I didn't have practicum that night, well, it depends, because I had a second job at the hospital, and we could either do 8-hour shifts or we can do 12-hour shifts. Depending on, let's say I had practicum that Wednesday night, I would either pick up an 8-hour 7 to 2 sitting job at the hospital, come home, eat, and then 5, and do the whole shabam. By the time 3:30 came, I laid or took a nap from 3:30 to 5, woke up, showered, left the house at 6, and went and did my 12-hour shift the next, that took me into the next Thursday, and that would be around 8 o'clock, okay? And at that point, you guys, I would have had 2 shifts. Then usually, I usually worked on, but usually had another practicum rotation, either Thursday or Friday. If I did have a practicum rotation on no, I didn't have them on Friday. I had on Thursday, so I'd come home, I'd sleep from 8:30 to 12:30 on Thursday again, wake up, went to the school job where I did a 2 to 7 again. Then is that what I did? No, because Wednesdays, y'all, I'm confusion. I would do, yeah. Okay, so after I would get off Thursday, 8 o'clock in the morning, I would then, I would then go do the whole shabam, sleep till 12:30. But usually on these nights, sometimes on these nights, if I did have a practicum rotation, I would have from 12:30 to 5:30 to like kind of chill at the house or get some extra sleep before I did my next practicum rotation from Thursday night to Friday morning. If not, I went to work at the financial aid office from 1 to 7 again. But let's say I did have a practicum rotation. I would just either sleep a little bit longer just to get some sleep, or I would wake up and study, and then I would go right back to the hospital again. After waking up at 5:30, shower, leave the house at 6 p.m., get there at 6:30, and then from 6:45 till 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday mornings, I would get off, come home around 8:30, sleep from 8:30 to, I think I did 1, because I would sleep longer these days on Fridays sometimes, because I would just pick up a 12-hour overnight shift at my other job again. And then, so that would, like, let's say I slept till 2, I would wake up, eat, it would be 2:30, and then at that, but usually I didn't take another nap if I was just sleeping, and then I would go into my job where I worked at a hospital as a nurse tech, and then I would do the whole shabam, get ready at 5:30, leave the house at 6 p.m., get there at 6:30. My shift again was a 6:45, but usually since I was a nurse tech, I actually left on time, so I actually got off at 7:15 in the morning on Saturday mornings. And then I would come home, it would be about 7:45-ish, and then I would do the same thing, sleep, wake up. Usually Saturdays I woke up a little bit later, closer to 2, and then I would have that Saturday from 2 to whenever I fell asleep again to study, catch up on work, fill out my practicum. We had journals, basically 3-page papers we had to do for every single practicum. We had to do quizzes. So I was in a full class. And Saturdays during that period was the only time I had, besides like little pocketed hours to kind of review and do like some tests and stuff, to actually do some schoolwork. And then I would sleep, wake up, and go to church 8 to 2. And you guys, I was so exhausted. I felt like I didn't even have time to drink water. And you guys, I never could have thought that I would have been able to do something like this, because I literally had no time and I was running on fumes and I barely slept. But you know, God is good and God is great. But that practicum schedule made me want to break down entirely too many times. And then that's just school and work. And there was so many other things I had to do. Like, and I know I say the wedding planning part, but like there was just life itself, you guys. Like, life itself still had to go on. Like, I still had to, like, it was just crazy. It was just really, really crazy. And that was my experience. And then I was on a floor that was horrible. One with an amazing preceptor, and who was not originally my preceptor, an original preceptor from hell. She was like, what did we call her? Alice? Can't stand the girl. I really can't stand the girl. It was ridiculous. But stay tuned for part 2, where I talk about my 2 preceptors and how I felt like it was just torture.